What's up?
It's not as funny as Jaden's, but it's fine.
It's fine. It's your own. It's unique.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Who are you?
Who am I? I am Esther Whaley,
Oh, nice to meet
Seamus's wife.
Woohoo!
And I have Judah and Isaac Whaley,
Cool.
my sons.
Nice.
And you?
I'm Charlotte. I'm Jaden's girlfriend. I seen you last Saturday. So what have you been up to this week?
This week, what have I been up to? I am working on setting up a business bank account.
Ooh, that sounds painful.
Yes. Well, actually, it's not been too bad. But for me, I've actually avoided a lot of these basic skills a lot of my life.
Right.
So this is like an awkward adult learning curve, which is not nice in adulthood, but is necessary.
Right.
So I've like applied for my first credit card. I've all very like basic stuff, but it has this ability to make me feel kind of undone because I haven't done a lot of that because I haven't needed to. So yeah, so I've been just pushing myself and just saying like I can do it and just taking each step to get towards starting my own business.
Nice.
So yeah,
good for
that's
you.
what I've been working on. And you?
I'm trying to do exercise, doing a little bit of website for my florist business.
Yeah.
So basically same, like struggling to learn new things, but it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What website platform are you using?
Shopify.
Okay. Let me just come pick your brain in a little bit once I start a proper website.
Do more brainstorming.
Yeah.
So do you think the woman in power thing is like it's a real thing? Because like I do look up to some girl boss.
Yeah.
That's what they call themselves because they start their own business and then they're always saying like, okay, you should love yourself. You should be proud of a woman. And then now they got a challenge.
Okay. Back it
black
up a
and
little
white.
bit. I think the Jaden and Sean referred to the social media phenomenon of women posting
Black and white picture.
black and white photos.
Right.
Yeah. And I was just kind of wondering, before we get into the whole woman empowerment thing, what do you think that's about? Do you know about that? Have you been invited to do that?
No.
Because I was invited, but I just like avoided it because naturally I'm always like, ugh, I don't know why we're posting photos of ourselves. Like I don't really get why I have to participate in like this broad solidarity of women. I'm like, I don't feel the need for it. I don't really understand it. What do you think that's about? Do you have any idea?
So when I first see those black and white pictures and then I try to see what are the captions, I do find words related to like, a woman's amazing and woman empowerment, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But then I don't really know what are the true motive of those people posting it. Yeah. And like I did have a look at another post that says, oh, people are just doing it by just doing it, but they don't really know why they're doing it. Yeah. And it's like a trend. Yeah. So I think I did some research. It says it's because they wanted to support the woman in Turkey. Okay. They got like taken and then murdered. Yeah. Violently treated, that kind of thing.
Like serious issues.
Right. So the girls, like the victims' pictures, it's always posted in black and white. Yeah. And then that was like to try and draw everyone's attention onto that on an international level.
But do you think it turns into this, because I know a lot of celebrities post their photos and then it's like them looking really sexy and sultry and it's like, wait a minute. What is the point of this? Like, is this just an excuse for women to like post a sexy photo and you're like,
That's what I think. Yeah. I think some of them, if they do, like if you read through the captions, they will actually tell you how do they think of woman empowerment. Yes. Or how they try to encourage women. Yes. Like in various situations, then that kind of makes sense. Yeah. Like you do something and you're trying to convey the message or belief.
Yes. Trying to share like a belief.
Right. That probably makes more sense. But if you're just saying like very vague stuff and you can tell like some of the people are just posting because they just want attention. Yeah. They just want to be included in the campaign. Yeah. I'm pretty and sexy. I'm going to post a picture of myself, the best self, blah, blah, blah. But I don't think they get it.
Yeah,
so
I mean, I think some people they're trying to have a good motive in doing that.
Yeah.
But how meaningful it actually is, I kind of tend to doubt that, because how is putting a picture of yourself saying I support all women actually you supporting all women? It seems quite self-centered and in a funny, even though you're like trying to like create a broad community or whatever, it's kind of about you at the end of the day. Like, oh, look at me. Like, it's like a virtue signal. Like, look at me. I'm supporting all women. It's like, well, what are you doing to support all women?
Just to get
I'm just posting a photo of myself on Instagram looking fabulous. It's like, really? I don't know. And something about it doesn't always sit right with me, and I'm often just like, that's not the purpose of my Instagram feed. So I'm like, I think
it's good because you get to choose, like, I'm nominated, but you don't do that challenge. Yeah. It's not really a challenge. It's just posting a picture. Yes. It doesn't, like, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I don't feel women in Hong Kong are being oppressed.
No.
Especially,
definitely not.
Like, I think, especially for me, it's quite young. Yeah. Like, I don't have the glass ceiling effect on me. Yeah. Like, I'm not trying to get promoted, and because I'm a woman, then I didn't get promoted. Like, those situations hasn't happened on me yet. No. Or it probably will not. I don't know.
Not likely, I wouldn't think. I think that war has most likely been already fought for us, as in, women are in the workplace. If they put in the hours and the effort, they're encouraged to be promoted, and for the most part, I think.
I do believe Hong Kong has the system, meritocracy. Yeah. So your hard work did pay off.
Yes.
But I do believe there are some other countries or regions that women do need to be empowered because of the structure of the society. But that's a different story. Like, it's very worldwide, and it's like history point of view. Like, it's a long term.
Probably hard for us to talk about that as well, because, to be honest, I don't know much about it.
Me too.
But like in the modern day, do you think that women really need, like, do you think they need to be empowered, or it's just a matter of now we need to get out there and do it?
In what way? Like to enter the workplace, or?
I'd say most things. Like, in what area are we like held back? Do you think there's any area that we're held back?
Not that I can think of, to be honest. I think you want to start a business. Now it's quite like most of the women, if they want to, I think they can try and start their own thing.
Yes, for sure.
It's not like, oh, you can't do this.
No.
It's all about negotiation with the husband, probably. Yes. But I don't think it's like a taboo.
No one's stopping you.
You can't do that.
For the most part,
Right. Like, you can go to drive. You can take a driver license, which I won't.
Yeah.
Because I just don't trust myself. It's not like you can't do it.
Yeah. That's why, like, bringing it back to our original point. That's why I sometimes find these, like, empowering women kind of a confusing statement, because I'm like, okay, fair enough. Empowering maybe, although I still don't know what connection that has to seriously oppressed women, posting a photo on Instagram.
Yeah.
Besides maybe some exposure. But for the Western world, I always find that a bit of a confusing statement. I'm like, why do we need such a boost? I don't understand. Why are we needing that boost? I'm like, we have been boosted. Now, like, let's get on with it, and like, it's your responsibility as an individual. Get out there and do your thing. Like, no one's holding you back. Like, anyways. So
it's interesting to see if you talk about individuality. Yeah. Like, you make choices by yourself.
Yes.
And you are actually being responsible for that.
Yeah.
It's quite a big thing.
Yeah.
It's like you do struggle
yes,
in your life with different situations. You try something new,
yes,
as we talked about, like learning new things along the way and improving yourself. That is real struggle.
Yes.
What do you think about that? Do you enjoy the struggle?
I hate it sometimes, but I know that it's necessary.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm literally not going to go forward if I don't push and strive to improve and struggle.
So when does that kick in? Like, when did you realize, oh, I do need to push forward or break this through?
I mean, I think I've probably once I left home, that was the real kickoff. You know, it's like the first time that I had to like leave the country, go get your social security number, go start paying rent, all that kind of stuff. I think that was the kind of the beginning of that.
What age are you at?
19.
Wow.
Yeah. But that's not to say that I've had to, that's a continual process.
Right.
You always come up against something that you don't know anything about or that you've kind of avoided in your life or anything like that.
Do you remember how do you cope with that when you first left home?
Probably panic and then just try to...
Did you get any help from your friends or parents?
Family. I had some family living around.
Right.
So I did ask for some help. Yeah. But the struggle for me was, I think, kind of a little bit like Jaden was saying, that I was kind of, I mean, it's not the same thing, but a similar theme. I think if I got overwhelmed growing up, my parents would be like, oh, it's okay. Like, I'll do it for you or I'll help you. I was always helped. And I think that didn't serve me in adulthood. Because now if I come to an obstacle that I have chosen not to develop in my life, so something technical or something numbers related, or that's usually my weakness, I'll like have this quite childlike reaction, like, just help me, why don't you help me? And it's like, Seamus is not my dad, Seamus is not my mom, and I'm an adult. So it's like, you can ask for help, but it's not healthy. It is very healthy to go out and just learn, like teach yourself. We have Google. We can Google everything.
Yeah, that's right.
And so I've had to definitely like throw the tantrum and then pick yourself, pull up your big girl pants and try. Just try.
I think it's good for you because you started off in an early age. 19, you're like adults already.
Yes,
but I didn't leave my family up to like maybe 1 or 2 years ago.
That's harsh.
Like 1 year ago. Technically, I'm still attached to them.
Yes.
Like that was so different. You starting to make your own decision.
Yes.
When you're 24.
Yes. How have you found that?
Panic.
Yeah.
It's scary.
It's very scary. And that's okay.
Yeah.
But it's hard. It's like the older you are, if you haven't developed that area, you're still a child. It's like you still go back to the last time that you touched that area of development, and you go back to the area and you have this terrible reaction, almost like a childlike reaction. You realize, I'm a child in that area.
Yeah.
I've never developed that skill. I've never developed that confidence. I've never had to. And it's very like, it's hard, hey?
For me, it's more like, who are you?
Yeah.
What do you want?
Yes.
It's not skills.
Yes.
It's what do you want?
Yeah.
And like, that's a big question.
Yeah.
You can have whatever you want. So what do you want?
Okay. So you were very much directed as a person.
Not before. I'm still trying to find the direction. But I mean, like, when you try to be an adult and take up responsibility.
Yeah.
That was the first time you do it.
Yes,
and you're 24.
But I mean, by 24, you're not really, so you weren't aware of like what you were passionate about, or in that way. I mean, you were directed as in maybe you weren't given the space to develop
or just,
some of those, or just told what to do.
Yeah, that's one thing.
Okay.
The other thing is no one tell you to think about what do you want to do.
Okay.
You just be normal.
Yeah.
Like everyone does the same thing.
Yes.
I thought I wanted the same thing.
Okay.
But then you realize that's not your value.
Yes.
However, you don't know what is your value.
Yeah. So
like you know something is wrong, but then you don't know, you don't want that. Then what do you want?
Yes.
I don't know.
And that's pretty scary, right?
Yeah.
It's like very undoing.
But it's good because at least you're aware.
Yes.
You can like work on the problem.
Yes.
But if you don't, then you just keep your life running like that.
Yep.
And then up to a point you realize that it's off track. Then it will probably suck. even more.
Yeah.
It's nothing you can do to go back and change things.
No.
So I'm glad I met Jaden and start to be inspired.
That's awesome. And it's, because you need support during that. It's a very, while you feel that insecurity and that shaking of what you are and the little that you realize you know.
It's actually not only Jaden, but he's the main supportive role.
Yeah.
And the whole Whaley family is very nice to me as well. Like, I'm always getting support from everyone.
Yeah, we love you.
And because of my family, they're always like most likely discouraging.
Yeah.
And they don't want you to try new things, which is so different too.
Why?
Just to be safe. Because
fear.
My mom grew up in a farm in mainland China. So she lives in like poverty.
Yeah.
And then when she married to my dad, he passed away when I was like fresh born.
Yeah.
So my mom has to take care of my sister and I.
Wow, that's tough.
So in her mindset, saving is good, not taking risk is good.
Yes.
So she just wants us to have a good life in her definition.
Yes.
She just wants to be here to provide.
Yeah.
And want to keep you in a safe zone.
Yeah, I can imagine she'd be very protective then.
Yeah. So she does things for me as a younger child.
Yeah.
She just feel like that's what she should be doing.
Yes, that's her duty.
Yeah, she don't want you to go out and explore. She want you to be in one piece.
Yes.
So it's so different. She will always tell you, okay, it's important that you have a stable life.
Yeah.
Money, it's always going back to money.
Yeah.
Because that's where she feels secure.
For sure. So do you think part of that mindset of like don't like people just like direct you and tell you what you should do and help you and don't encourage you to find out what you want, is part of that your family culture, or is that also an Asian
I think it's
culture?
Asian culture.
Okay.
Or like in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
I don't really know. Because I always think foreigners are more adventurous. Just like you guys, you just left home, left country. Yeah. You start up new things in your new place by yourself.
Yeah.
Hong Kong people are not like that. They're very close to their family. They don't move out the house like up to the 30 or like when they get married.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
So different. And then we got the ideology of being normal. We don't encourage people to pursue your individuality.
Okay, by normal you mean?
So you have to get good education.
Okay.
So get into a uni, then get a decent job, whatever nature it is, but it better to be stable and like big corporate.
Yeah.
And then you get a flat for whatever way, like save your every penny to just put down the down payment.
Yeah.
Then you be in debt and then you try to get off the debt.
Yeah.
And then you retire, but still probably you still need to like struggle a way to live when you retire and then you are dead. So that was the normal, like get married after you have a good job, you have a house, then get child, like form a family.
Yes.
And then, so that was the normal.
Yeah. So that's quite a set pattern that most people are kind of aiming at.
Maybe it's not sad. Maybe it makes sense.
Like a set, I mean, that's like kind of a preconceived, traditional way to kind of order your life.
Yeah.
But do you have any friends that have done anything entrepreneurial or like, I wonder what, no. Okay. Because I wonder that I just think that must be really difficult in that setting. If you want to do something different, I think it must be like, it's scary for anyone.
Yeah.
But especially if there's no pattern of that and your parents are probably telling you the whole time, like, what are you doing? You're crazy.
Because none of my friends are actually thinking, what do they want to do with their life? Is that sad?
Really? What are they thinking?
Just get by.
Just function, just do. Yeah,
functionally.
Yes.
They are alive, but they're not like living their life.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like they work at a job that they hate.
Yes.
like actually they keep complaining, I hate my job. Yeah. And then they're not going to quit.
Yeah.
They're not going to find out what do they want to do.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the month, okay, that's over. And then I get paycheck. And then lives just go on.
Gosh.
Do you want to move out with your family? Never think of it. Do you want to get flat? Yeah, probably. How are you going to do that? I don't know. That's the like quite standard answers.
Wow. I mean, I guess at least the people that I know and myself, at least there's that, your parents do at least ask those questions, like, what do you want? You know, and even if you don't, because I mean, it's normal for a young person not to know what they want.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't expect my kid fresh out of high school to know exactly what they want. Yeah. But at least also like, at least hopefully we've been kind of watching them and watching them develop and having like an idea of at least like what they're good at. And we've given them some time to pursue the things they enjoy.
Yeah, give them
room. That's a big thing. I think from what I've seen in Asian culture, often there is no room. There's no time because you just fill them up with all these extracurricular activities in order to have a good
education.
Yeah, and in order to get into the best schools, to get into it's always this like, but it's not necessarily what they want. It's, and
just
I think
to keep it up.
Yeah. And
quick.
Yeah, it's
Hong Kong, hard. So sad.
And it's hard on kids. Like you see it, even teaching them English, and you just have this kind of sense of it's heavy for them.
I was told I have to come here, not because I genuinely want to.
Oh, do you want to learn English? Want what?
Yeah.
What is want?
I was told to.
Yeah. I'm here because my mom sent me here.
Yeah, that probably their struggle. I have to go to English class.
Yeah.
But I don't want to.
No, and then half the time it makes you hate the things you're learning because none of it comes from you. It's just this have to pressure, do the right thing. It's very heavy, isn't it?
Have you ever tried that experience? Like you told yourself, I have to do that instead of like others. That will be probably similar.
Yeah, but I mean I think it's probably different again because I'm still making the choice to force yourself to do something. That's still your choice, right?
Yes.
I think it's another level of heaviness when you know it's an expectation. I can only imagine, like, not that my parents never had expectations, but I can imagine that's a big burden. But I think this goes into one of the points I wanted to talk about, which is why is it important to live passionately and not just functionally?
I wanted to talk about that too. Because
you're discovering this, right?
Yeah.
The difference.
You're not given the chance to try to do what you love for a living. No one told you can do that. Yeah. And you don't dare to do something by yourself and try and make something with your hands or whatever. And once you try that feels so good.
Yes. But why is that important to pursue what you love or want as opposed to just doing what's expected or right? Why is that an important thing? Or what difference does it make to quality of life? Do you think?
You're a person with a soul?
Yeah.
Or not?
Yeah.
That was true. It's very different.
Wow, that's good.
You don't feel like I have to do this because you want to, and then you enjoy doing it.
Yes.
I remember there's first time, it's like a big order.
Yeah.
It's basically the first order I get.
Yeah.
It's a big one.
Yeah.
And I have to make like 6 small centipedes and 1 large one. So I spent hours doing it. It's like, you don't want to stop.
No.
You're enjoying it.
Yeah.
You're just happy. Oh, I spent 20 hours on this and I'm probably losing money.
Don't care.
But it's fine.
Yeah.
Like your hourly rate just drop dramatically as you work hard and then you work till like 3 a.m.
Yeah. And do you find that's like, it's actually it's actually energizing.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh, like I've tapped into something on a very deep level that actually creates my personal energy and my, like, it's a very deep thing that you're touching in yourself.
I always amazed by how the Whaleys are working so hard. Especially like, for example, this building, they dedicate hours.
Yep.
They don't rest. And I'm like, what are you that when Jane is coming back to painting, and then I'm like it's almost like 10 hours of work, however long it is.
Yeah.
But I know everyone works this hard.
Yeah.
They're just loving what they do, and they don't feel it's like work. They just want to keep going.
Yeah.
And when you started to do something like that, you become alive.
Yeah. It's that purpose, right? You see, like,
The
I'm
goal.
not just doing it. There's a purpose behind what I'm doing, and it's something that I personally value. You know, so they would have a vision for this building.
Yeah.
In this building, we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do this.
Yeah.
This is hard, but we're aiming at that.
Yeah.
You know, at that vision, you have a goal.
Just like you drawing. You focus to finish the drawing. You lost track of time.
Yeah.
You just dive in.
Yeah, for me, I can do that for hours, and I don't even realize that I've done it for hours. It's that flow. So yeah, it's that same thing. It's very energizing, and it's not really. It's not a logical thing. It's just like that's what I'm put here to do, and I think obviously, like you said, like finding that's going to make you an effective person in the world. You're not just this dead being going through the motions. You're going to be alive, and you're going to actually have something to give to other people.
Yeah.
And I think that's...
How do you find your passion then?
I mean, for me, like I said, I think growing up, our parents were very good at giving us room. Like I had so much free time. So I would just get bored and I would go run outside and I would just daydream. And you kind of stumble into what you're just allowed to kind of flow, and then in that flow you kind of come across what you enjoy, but you're given that space. I think space and getting bored is really important for kids, and through play and just being who you are, you come across it. Now, whether you actually do something productive and useful with that passion or that thing you enjoy, that's a whole nother set of skills. You know, often it's like the passion is this tiny little bit of it, but the things you need to develop to actually make that monetary or useful, like functionally useful, is a whole nother realm of pushing yourself. And, you know, you have to mature in that. I'm sure you've learned that.
Yeah.
You're not just making flowers, right? That's like a part of it.
Yeah. I started to get into the business side more. So before I just enjoy it, now I have to like work onto accounts, like okay, this is how much I spend, I'm earning this, delivery is this, so that math, which is my absolute weakness. I hear you. So that's, and more like admin work, I suck at that as well. I
hear you. It's gonna be something
I'm gonna support you all the way,
one step at a time. I mean, if you think about it as a whole, sometimes too, it's like can be quite overwhelming. You're like, how am I gonna get to there? I have no idea. But that's you gotta work that out, right? Step by step.
All the puzzles.
Yes. Yeah.
Tiring. So do you like the balance of your life now? Most of the time you're a stay-home mom. Yeah. And then you do drawing and SKE teacher?
Well, right now there's no teaching, which I'm actually loving, to be honest. But I mean, I think whatever walk of life you're in, you need to incorporate the passion, because as much as I love my kids and I'm grateful for being a mom, if I'm just doing and just cleaning and just cooking, which neither of those things am I especially passionate about. Like I don't mind cooking if you have the time, but like for me it's a bit of a routine. Like you just kind of get it done, get everyone fed, feed them things they kind of like. But if I was just doing that, I would struggle big time internally, because there would be like a frustration. Like I'm quite a creative person, and I think everyone has their creativity, but I think certain people have a propensity that if they're not letting that flow out and they're not having that those times when you just kind of like you're in the flow, you're in it, and it's very therapeutic for your soul, and it's very like really releases any of the tension and the frustration. And if you're not doing that, I think I had the tendency to become very depressed, very inward, very frustrated. So for me, that's been vital to put aside, to develop that and put that aside time to do that.
Yeah.
So that my life is balanced and that I'm like well integrated into all the things that I do and that I have energy for the other things. Because if you're not pursuing some passion of some kind, I think it's easy to feel drained and like you're just going through motions. Like just you get a bit dead in or a bit bored with your routine or whatever.
So what do you do before you become a mom?
So when I met Seamus, I was pretty young. I hadn't gone to uni yet. So I met Seamus. I decided not to go to uni because I didn't really even know what I wanted to do. So it would have been a big waste of time and money. I'm glad now I never did. So before I had kids, I mean, we got married. I just had worked at a coffee shop, did some admin, like temp jobs.
Do you enjoy that?
No.
So I know that you hate that.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. No, I didn't enjoy it. I don't mind like a coffee shop because it's kind of sociable and it's, to be honest, it's easy.
Yes.
And I would always like bring a book and like do something I enjoyed in the downtime. Like I'd often choose a job where I could like read a book because I was like, I don't want to do this job. It bores me. And I don't want to like go into something technical or, to be honest, I don't want to push myself very much. So I'd rather kind of get a job that I can just sit and do something that I deem as valuable, like learn something on, like stimulate myself mentally or rightly or wrongly. So,
then what pushes you to change that environment from an easy environment?
Yeah, I mean, I chilled out for so we were married for 5 years before we had kids.
Right.
And I think, and to be honest, being married was pretty easy. I didn't actually get to the heart of some of my issues, but having kids really squeezed the toothpaste tube and all the crap came out. And then also I just realized like I had suppressed a lot of what I was. I was a very frustrated person. I would get really stressed and really just impatient and really just horrible because I wasn't well integrated. I didn't know myself very well. I didn't, and that's a hard time to figure that out when you've got kids now and you've got to be selfless and not think about yourself. So I think just as it went on, and like I said, I hadn't done any drawing. I kind of had decided I'm not going to sing again. I'm not going to do any of that stuff because I don't know how to handle it, and I get too self-conscious, and it made me kind of like hate it because I hated that I wasn't free in myself to do those things because for whatever reason. Well, there are reasons, but we don't need to go on and on about it. So for me, kids put the pressure on, and I really had to look at, because it would come to a head, like I'd just be really unhappy. And then of course Seamus would be like, well, what do you want? Like what is your issue? Like, and I same with you. Like I was just like, I don't know what I want. You know, I'm really young in this area, and it's a shame that it had to come to a head like this, but it's a good thing too.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, I don't know what I want. What do I want? And he's like, well, maybe you need to find out what you want. And so, yeah, it was just a process of that. And I also, like, I just had to do a lot of soul searching. Like, what's going on? And like, who are you? And for me, because of my faith, I really talked to God. I got honest with God the most honest I'd ever been. And I cried out to him and I just said, you got to help me because I'm stunted. I've got things that hold me back. I'm selfish. I'm frustrated. And you've got to help me. And bit by bit, the answers came and tools came. And like, yeah, it wasn't like overnight. I mean, it was probably a process of 5 years or it's still a process. I'm not, no one's there yet, but.
Do you know the way to figure out yourself? Like, how do you actually do it? Because it's like, oh, let me think. But then what question do you actually drill into? Because that was like, I struggled that bit as well. I wanted to, but I don't know how.
You have to start trying, don't you? I guess. Like, if you have a propensity towards something, it's like, oh, I'm good at drawing. So then start drawing. Well, I haven't drawn for years. Well, that's a problem. Start doing that, or start creating some headspace so that you can actually be creative. You know, because with kids, it's like it's constant. Like when they're babies, you're like up all night, up all day. You can get really, like it's just really full on, and there's not a lot of room for you because that's just the way that it should be at that time. You know, but as time goes on, you start to make a bit of space, and you have to kind of process that, like, you know, and you have to, like for me, I was dealing with a lot of anxiety, and when you're anxious, you can't
think properly,
be creative or think properly, or so like God gave me, like literally, I was like, God, I can't. At a bit later, I was like, God, I can't do this anymore. I'm so anxious all the time. I'm so stressed out. You've got to help me. And well, for me, the Holy Spirit spoke to me. A video came up on my YouTube feed, and it was about the deep breathing, Wim Hof. You've heard me mention that. And I watched it, and something in my spirit, it's the only way I can explain it, it just went ping. I was like, you got to try that. And that's very recent. That was like in December.
Right.
And before that, I was on a road to that, and I'd started drawing and I'd started doing things, but I still was just dealing with this kind of crippling anxiety. So for me, that was a huge breakthrough. That gave me a chemical balance that helped a lot. Like now 5 months on, it's some of the chemical effect has kind of worn off. But it's still a huge thing. You know, you start the day with that, and you kind of have a meditative session after you do that breathing, and it's just like it's very focusing and aligning, and it's calmed me down, and it's made me more creative.
That's good
because it's kind of I've tapped into a kind of a flowier, deeper state, I guess. But
I think you do need those time for you to think properly, like your own time.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a process, I guess. Like I do Jordan Peterson's like questionnaire thing. It's called self-authorizing.
Oh yeah,
so it does help me look into your flaw. Yes. Your strength.
Yeah.
What do you want to have in your life?
Yes.
So he mentioned something broad, but you dig into each aspect. Career.
Yeah.
What do you want for your career?
Yeah.
Family, friends.
Yes.
Mental health and physical health.
Yeah.
And can't really remember, but like those broad aspects.
Yeah.
So you start to construct your life around those questions. So I think it's good that to have a time of yourself being honest.
Yeah.
So I think before, the problem of me is like I thought I want, or I kind of lied to myself that that's what I want.
Yeah.
Then at this time, you do need to be honest with yourself, like completely, okay, I'm flawed.
Yes.
And okay, that's my strength. What do I do about that? I can always like say, oh, I suck at math, or like try to be negative about it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's not going to help really.
No.
But why don't you like just do something to think of a way? If that's what you want to get to, then you have to overcome some hurdles.
Yeah. I think,
painful and long process, but it's good to be aware of those problems.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, if you don't get honest with yourself, those hang-ups and those issues and those stunted areas will just keep tripping you up, and you'll always be too afraid or too just immature. You won't be developed enough to actually sustain any kind of success, or you won't be also healthy enough to do your art form or your passion consistently. It'll all be dependent. There will always be those limitations, and I think you always have to be willing to admit to. Like this morning, so setting up bank accounts, Esther gives HSBC the wrong email account, but you need an email account to get the security PIN code that they send to you. And oh my goodness, like Seamus in these moments, he's just like, you're an idiot. You're such an idiot. And I'm like, I know. Like, I'm really dumb with some of this stuff. Like, I'll give them the wrong information and like, I just have to admit that. Like, I'm working at it, but I don't know anything. And I used to think that I knew something. I used to be much more like, oh, it's fine. Like, it doesn't matter. But like, I think coming to that place of humility is huge. If you can just say like, I don't know anything about this area, but I need to improve it, and I need to just like make steps to get better, and I need to fumble through it, and I need to fail, and I need to be embarrassed and not like let my pride stop like protecting myself.
Yeah.
That's the only way that you're going to get anywhere.
Right.
Like, yeah.
I've heard the flow of psychology.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that? Like you...
Tell me. Teach me, Charlotte.
No, don't say I teach you. I just
me.
learned from others. Jaden. I think Jordan Peterson.
So teach me.
Yeah, and then Jaden taught me about that too.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to know where you at. So like you have to be completely honest.
Yes.
I suck at this. I'm good at this. What resources do I have?
Yeah.
And then you have a target or goal. That's the place you want to go.
Yeah.
So what do you want to be at? Like if you say, okay, let's have a practical goal. I want to earn 12K in a month.
Yeah.
By the side business.
Yeah.
So that was the goal. And is that what you really want? Are you really going to be happy at that target?
Yeah.
If you reach that? And then if that's the truth, then you start to construct your way to do that. Or once you have that aim, your thinking, your action, what you talk about, is just going to manifest you to get to that direction. So like if I do want to earn that much, I'm going to talk to people. How do I make that money?
Yeah.
Oh, your business is successful. How did you do that? Do you have any tips for me? And then by that, you construct letters to get to where you want to be.
Yeah.
But it's really important to be honest the whole time.
Yes.
Because you think you're intelligent, but in fact you're not.
No, and you're just like self-sabotage if you're not aware also. Like your little demons will come out.
You just think things is gonna work out for me, but that's not true.
No, I think you have to be so humble about it. Like we've all been given gifts.
Yeah.
And those were given to us. They're not something that we cleverly concocted. And sure, some people I think are very good at like learning a skill or learning a new skill and becoming awesome at it. And maybe that's their gift.
All right.
But I think the older I get, not that I'm old, but I just realized when I was young, I thought that this is my little gift and it kind of scares me because I feel like I'm supposed to do something with it, but I don't know what to do and I'm self-conscious and I'm just going to hold on to it and make it go away. And like, la, 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 la. And as I've gotten older, I've just like realized like, this is given to you for others. This is given to you to share, to be an authentic, fulfilled, vibrant human being, the only one like you on the planet for your short little blip of time. And if you're going to waste your time controlling it and hanging on to it and being all thinking that it has something to do with you, you're going to be miserable, and that's not why you were put here. So I'm just like trying to work in the direction of practically sharing what I have with others, because in that also, I mean, you're going to learn new skills. You're going to develop that gift because you're going to have to practice it in the process.
Right.
You know, you have to make bouquets of flowers to give them out. So in that, you're practicing getting better at it. And then, hopefully make some money at it. But like for me personally, Seamus is trying to like drill into me. You got to think money. And like we sit down and have our little business meetings. And like, so what's your like aim? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But at least I'm just working on making practical steps towards actually sharing what I've got and getting over it. Like just putting it out there. Yeah. This is what it is. This is who I am. And I'm just going to keep working at it and sharing it and just improving. And just because I'm like, also it hit me a little while back, like I would do this regardless. This is what I'm like put on this is part of what I'm put on the earth to do. So why not try and do something with it?
Yeah. I like the logo, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
I like the idea as well.
Which one?
The whale coming out.
Oh, yeah. No, that's the Whaley logo.
Yeah,
that was cool because, I mean, I've avoided any form of digital art.
Right.
Just because I'm not really into computer. It's technical again.
Yeah.
It's just not I'm like quite airy-fairy. But, yeah, and I was just like, oh, and I had Sean on the other end of the WhatsApp. And of course, he's just going like, yeah, you know, you just like go figure it out. And I'm like, what do you mean figure it out? I'm like,
Yeah.
I have no idea. So he was very gracious, and he kind of like gave me some, I was like, literally just give me a sequence of events. Like I research this, then I'll research that. Like, anyways, he gave me like a really basic, like a 3-step, and I just went out and I watched videos, and I failed, and I got freaked out, and I got over being afraid. And then I actually figured out a couple simple things. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I felt so proud of myself. Like it was a bit pathetic. Like I was like, I did it. And Seamus turned around and he's like, I did not expect you to be able to do that. I had zero confidence in your ability to learn that skill. And I was like, so did I. That's amazing. Yeah. So I think even that alone, like if you can learn something for yourself, it's like that's yours.
Right.
Nobody did that for you. And that builds, like when we're talking about women putting pictures on the internet, like you want to talk about empowerment, go do something for yourself. Yeah. You know, push yourself. That's empowering. Empowerment comes from within. It's got nothing to do with what somebody else. Yeah. Oh, you're so beautiful. You're so talented. Like, am I? I'm not really until I can say I am. Yeah. You know, until I can actually prove to myself that I did my very best in this world at whatever it was that I was called to do. You know, and it's just that incremental pushing.
Yeah. It's amazing. Like, realizing, oh, actually I can do this. It's really good for you.
I think our time's almost up, right?
Yep.
Cool.
It's good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you too.
I'll support you on the way of technical stuff, which I don't think I can help with any, but mentally I'm with you.
No worries, as long as we're willing to try. Yeah. That's all it comes down to.
Cool.
Yeah, good job.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
Bye.
Bye-bye.